creator's journey. Thank you so much for being here. My guest today is Shweta Chadha. She's an Access Bars facilitator and she's a very positive person. She believes that you can transform your life and convert stress into possibility if you just use the power of choice. Now, doesn't that sound easy? Moreover, Shweta believes that all of life can come to you with ease, joy and glory. So I don't think we should waste much time and start the interview so that you know what the secret of success is. Let's go.
Thank you for joining. Hi Shweta, how are you?
Sadhana, I'm good. How are you?
Very well. Hi Renuka. Yeah, I know. How are you doing? Are you excited to be here?
Very, very. I think it's commendable how you're doing these lives, inviting people to give their best. You're amazing. I think you're an inspiration, and I'm so excited to be here talking to you today about all that you're going to
Thank you so much.
talk about.
Yeah, we'll talk about a few things, but I just want some more people to join. There are a few people here. Renuka's here, Aman is here,
Hi guys.
Jayati's here, Nisha's here.
Thank you everyone for being
Guys,
here.
oh, Renu is here. Hi, Renu. How are you?
Hey,
Thank
Renu.
you.
Hi.
Hello. Actually, yeah, it's so lovely to have Shweta. Just for everybody's information, while we are just waiting for some more people, I was going through this app called SoundCloud. It's a really nice app. I do recommend it if somebody likes to listen to stuff, whether it's music or, just some talks, etc. And I just happened to hear audio by Shweta, and my whole, I was feeling a little low because this was in the lockdown, and my whole energy changed. It was amazing, the way that Shweta was talking completely changed my mood, to put it very simply. And then I started looking for her, that who is this amazing lady, and if she can just change something for me, if I listen to her once to an audio, then I must track her down. And today, here she is, right in front of me, and I'm also sharing her with the whole lot of you. So I think everybody here is very lucky because they're going to get a teeny weeny nice bit of your positivity, and you never know, that may change something.
No, thank
And
you
we
so
all
much.
we all need that now, Shweta, you know it.
I need it too, Sadhana. Trust me, we all
Yeah,
need it.
I know. We all need it, and I need it. Yeah, and you need it. Everybody does.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's amazing. I can see that there are a couple of people who are coming here for the first time. So just for their benefit, I invite a guest here and we talk for about 40-45 minutes, after which for about 10 minutes or so we take calls from, not calls, what am I saying? We take questions from the audience, from the viewers who are listening, and they're listening very attentively because the kind of questions which come in are very, very, with the moment, and they're very pertinent. And obviously, people are listening, they are enjoying themselves. So I feel good, and I think the guests who are here, including Shweta, also have a lot of positivity to share. So I think that's what we are going to be doing today as well. Maybe we can start with the introduction and also start talking a little bit about what we are going to be doing today. because some more people have joined. There is Sonal, there is Nitin, there is Robinson. Oh, Veena is here. Hi, Veena. Thank you for joining. That's really wonderful of you. I'm really happy that you're here, and I'm happy that everybody's here. Great. So, yeah, just to sum up, if you have questions, it would be nice if you can put them at about 40 minutes from now, half an hour to 40 minutes, so that I can pick them up. If you put them too early, I might not be able to keep track of them because when I'm talking to Shweta, I may miss them. So do give questions because it's important. It's important that something that's bothering you, maybe Shweta has the key to that, uh, you know, to the answer that you're looking for.
I just hope I can
So
contribute to people today. I wouldn't promise any keys, but I can definitely promise some awareness and definitely a change of point of view. But Sadhana's been too kind, and I'm glad my SoundCloud audio found you, Sadhana. Yay! How did I get so lucky? And yes, so let's go.
yes, so I'm going to give a formal introduction to Shweta. My guest today, Shweta Chadha, is an empowerment coach and consciousness facilitator. She believes that whatever you dream is achievable once we make up our mind to exercise the power of choice. An architect by profession, the name of her maiden venture, architectural venture, Conscious Spaces, reflects her personality because from as much as I know of her, she is both conscious and spatial. But having moved beyond the desk and drawing board, Shweta is now an acclaimed life transformation strategist associated with Access Consciousness. Not only has she created infinite possibilities for herself, but has also empowered so many people who come in contact with her to do so by introducing them to this choice of possibilities. Presenting the lady who once called me the sorceress of smiles, Shweta Chadha.
Thank you so much. You're going to make me cry. Now, listening to all of that, nobody said so much about me in such a short span and so beautifully.
No, it's your bio. I haven't added anything I shouldn't have.
Thank you so much.
But yeah, great. Thank you for joining, Pradeep, Monica, uh, Camilla, and all of you. Let's start off. Now, Shweta, the thing is that, I get it that choice is important. From whatever I've read in your bio and from what I know of you, I know choice is important. It's not that it isn't. But, and choice and intellect is something that only human beings have as a race. It is only human beings who have choice and intellect. So it's our duty actually to use choice with the backing of intellect, as in intellectual choices or well thought out choices are very important. But to start off with the present situation, we are in the midst of Corona. We have this whole thing going on, which is creating such a awful space for all of us. How does one stay positive in such a situation? I mean, it's very nice. It sounds nice. Be positive. I also say it to people, and all of that. But I know, at some point with so much of stress of you can't go here, you can't go there, jobs, certain industries are so badly affected. So how do you see this? I mean, what is this happening, and is it something that we could have control, or what is Corona and this present situation?
Right. So I wouldn't be the right person to tell you why it happened or whether it should have happened or not. But yes, I do have some awareness around this, in the sense that I myself have been locked in the house for the last 4 months. All the travel that we were doing with the classes that I was creating and the classes that I was attending, plus the holidays and everything, right after the children's exams, we're supposed to go for holidays. It was holiday season. So all of that came to a standstill. And then to top it all, of the fear that came along. And then we thought it was only going to last for, say, just 21 days when we heard it for the first time. But then it went on and on and on. And what I've seen, like, I've seen people's economic condition get spoiled. Even people who were these roadside sellers, small businesses startups kind of collapsed literally. So there is this thing of the economy going in a state of chaos, and things not being the way they used to be. But are we? My question is, and by the way, you asked me, how does one stay positive, and how does one continue in a scenario like that? So for me, what works is, with the work that I do with Access Consciousness, is the power of questions, the power of choice, the way you said, and the power of creation. So if you're creating, no matter what, whatever the situation outside of you is, if you're so strong in within yourself, and if you literally trust you, which is what I've received from Access in the form of questions, because when you ask a question, really, it opens up these choices. So for example, if I did not look at this situation as a wrongness, as something that is, going to pull me down, or yes, you are affected by things outside. You see people getting sick, you see people dying, you see people losing their jobs. But what if you did not have to buy into all of that as real, as true for you? Because haven't there been times in your lives when you've been through a difficult time, hardships, where things seem to be collapsing, but did they actually collapse? Or at the end of it, did you see yourself stronger, sharper, wiser? Right? So the power of a question in itself is such a strong thing. It's such a power in itself that it just takes you out of that situation of limitation, situation of distress, of feeling low. Because remember, we were having this conversation of how you, as an aware being, you're aware of everything. It's like, when you walk into your home and somebody's upset over something, कोई गुस्सा है किसी से या कोई झगड़ा हुआ है, don't you really just come to know that kuch garbad hai? Even when you walk into a party and something's not okay, you don't even know those people, but you'll just be like, something's not okay. Even in situations where you're walking down a dark alley, you'll know not to take that road. Now, what is that? That's your awareness, right? So what if, with the power of question, which creates more choices for you, and you're not buying into anything that, like, I was just giving you this example of walking down the alley, right? Where this might not be safe. So how many times have you taken a different route? I'm sure everybody who's here and everybody who's going to be listening to this in the future has at one point or another known that this is not a safe road to take, so I'm going to take another one. Yes or no? Right?
Yes.
So how do you know that? It's your knowing, it's your intuition, whatever you want to call it. Right? But it's there with you. So what is your intuition telling you now? Why are you making things outside of you real? And that's the power of questions, of the tools that we use. And slowly but surely, even though you keep looking at things that seem real to you, if you continue to trust yourself, if you continue to actually always be in question, always ask, hey, is this real? Do I have to buy this as real, or do I trust me?
Shweta, let me put it in a little relatable way, because a lot of the people would not be aware of Access. Yeah. So what, no, as I was listening to you, what you're saying is that whatever we hear at all times need not be something that we should buy into. I mean, what is being fed to us could be just somebody else's perception. So, for example, let's take the example of what's happening in the media these days.
Yeah.
All of it need not be true. I mean, there are people making certain projections on us. They are feeding us certain amount of information, and we start buying into that as correct and true, whereas it need not be. So even Corona could be something that has been projected by, on us, whether it's by the WHO, whether it is by whosoever. I mean, I'm not taking a I don't have a point of view of who's done it, but somebody could have made certain projections, and we are perceiving the situation to be worse than it actually is, or in a way that it isn't. Is that what you're
Yeah.
saying? That
Yes.
it
So,
need not
okay.
be your reality, right? Jobs are going, this, that. But if it's not going to happen to you, why should you worry about it? Who said it'll
Yeah.
happen to us?
You know what, Sadhna? There is this thing of fear, which is such a trigger that the moment you instill fear in somebody's mind, it just, you can control that person. Now, how many of you have seen that happen in your lives, with other people in your lives, or with yourself? The moment you've gone into fear, right, you just lose sense of what is real and what is not. So it doesn't matter who's feeding you what. You just kind of see inside, as infinite beings, as beings of consciousness, we do know what is true for us and what is not, right? So, but when we go into fear, the moment somebody has instilled fear in our minds about anything, forget about the virus, or forget about dying, forget about your close people getting sick, or you losing your job, any kind of fear, the fear in itself controls you. So it doesn't matter what the media is feeding you, what people are saying. And again, if you look at it, there are 1,000 perspectives of any story. There are these beautiful versions of the Mahabharata, if you've seen. There's a version which is Krishna's version, which is the Gita, right? Now there is a version by Karn. There is a different version by Draupadi, and I'm sure there's a different version by Arjun's other wives or someone else. And there's a different version if you look at how Dhritarashtra saw it. So every character in the story has a different version of the same story. Is that not true? So then
Absolutely.
which one of it is true?
Everybody
Now,
has their own perception. Yeah.
yeah. So none of it is true, actually, if you see. It is just how we look at a situation, how we perceive it, and whether we buy into the fact that it's going to affect us or not.
So yes, I get it now, that you have to make sure that you are not perceiving it through somebody else's eyes. You have to perceive it through your own eyes, the situation, and whatever the situation, you probably have a way of dealing with it. And for that, we need and for that, we need to have the power of choice, I guess, which is what you're going to tell us about next.
Have a clear vision, you don't need to get, so like we talk about fear being a distractor, it distracts you from what is real. Fear, anger, emotions. The moment you've gone into emotion, you rarely can see what is true and what is not. You see it the way fear is going to show it to you.
Yes.
So now we talk about how can you actually get out of fear? How can you actually not buy into what is going on around you?
I think, I want to give an example of fear. Yeah. I mean, when you so-called, I mean, when you love somebody and you are worried and you're afraid that they may leave you, the way that you behave, I think that's a perfect example of fear, because you would do so many silly things which no self-respecting person should really do. That you could do. I'm not saying everybody will do it, but you might bend backwards to please the person, which you, in your right frame of mind, would probably not do it. But if you fear losing the person, you could make some mistakes, and perhaps this is what you're trying to tell us, that fear makes us act a little out of character and out of perhaps a little bit on the back foot, which...
Not a little bit, Sadhna. It totally changes you as a person.
Totally changes you.
Not do things the way you would have done them if fear didn't exist in your world. So just look at whatever. So all the people who are watching, if you just looked at the example that you just gave, where you didn't want to lose someone, even with this virus thing going around, how many people are scared that they might lose their loved ones to the virus, or somebody's going to die, or something bad or terrible is going to happen to someone? And how does one start behaving then? You're always on the edge, you're always worried, and you're behaving in ways which you normally wouldn't have believed. Now, if, for example, let's just assume in the same situation, there was no fear. You were very sure that, one, it's not going to happen to you. Because, by the way, we didn't bring this up, how we create our own reality with our thoughts. So if you're thinking it's going to happen to me, you're constantly thinking that thought is going to happen to me, it's going to happen to me, that person's going to go away, go away, go away. And that's exactly what will happen, because you are a powerful being. You don't realize that. So whether you're thinking a negative thought or a positive thought, you're going to attract what you think. So for now, for just this, let's say 10 seconds, 30 seconds, just imagine that there was no fear. Like fear was something that you could just, throw out the way you would just throw out or in the dustbin a used napkin. If it wasn't there, what would you choose? Choose to do, choose to think, choose to have fun with, choose to create with, choose to create money with, choose to create new businesses with. And the moment the fear has gone away, is it now distracting you? Is it creating the stress in your body? No.
No, obviously, we'll be at ease. So I think this is a good point at which we should turn to the second question, and that is, what is the power of choice and how do we use it? I mean, how does it tell us about this possibility of choices and how we can create our reality with that?
All right. So, we have basically, if you actually start to see, it's as simple as that. It's as simple as not buying into, where we say buying into means believing what other people are telling you. And asking, hey, what do I know about it? Like I said, a question will always open you up to more awareness around that situation, around what you can choose, right? So if you have like a buffet of choices in front of you, then okay, I would like to choose this, or I like to try that, or if that doesn't work, I have the next one to go to. There is no dearth of choices. You can choose anything if you like. And trust me, anything. But again, if you've gone into something such as fear, or I can't, or I won't, let's not even look at fear. If I've gone into the wrongness of me, if I've gone into I can't do that, or I can't do this, then we've kind of just eliminated choice. So the first thing to do is, what am I believing is true? Now, whether it is from the outside world, whether it's about the virus, or it's something that I believe I can't do, I can't be. So if I believe that I can't do this Insta Live, let's say I can't talk in front of so many people, then what have I done? Like, you wouldn't even have been able to find me, because with my energy, I'm saying I can't do this. Constantly in my head, I'm wronging myself. So what do I do? Now, I got to look at, what am I believing about me? That is not true. What am I believing about the world that is not true? So anything that's making you feel wonky, feel stressed, feel anxious, feel fearful, is something that you got to ask questions around. You got to ask, is this really true for me? Or am I just buying other people's points of views? Because it's affecting them, it doesn't have to affect me. Right? So the first thing I would say is to begin to question every belief you have about this reality, every belief you have about you, every wrongness that you think is true about you. Isn't that the way we take ourselves into this thing of feeling low, feeling depressed? I can't do this. So many bad things are happening, and it's definitely going to happen to me. So not only are you, with that constant wronging of you, attracting more wrongness, attracting more negativity, if you want to call it that, you are also cutting off all choices from your life. So the moment you've gone to question of, is this really true for me? And then you can also ask, hey, what do I know about this? Right? You'll be surprised that you yourself will start to get these ideas, these awarenesses of, oh, I was just looking at it as if it was true for me. It's not true for me. I don't have to buy this. Or somebody will call you and give you some positive piece of information. Or you'll start to see things that will encourage you. But for that, you have to start to shift your thought process from feeling wrong, bad, negative, to asking questions. And the two simplest of questions, Sadhna, you know that, are, how does it get any better than this? So any situation that you're in, if you don't know what questions to ask, you can just ask, इससे और अच्छा कैसे हो सकता है, इससे better कैसे हो सकता है? Simple. It's simple. And the moment you ask, the universe is actually there at your disposal. The moment you ask, the universe will say, oh, I'll show you how it can get better than this. Look, here are so many choices available for you. But then you got to get up and take that action step to choose it. Does that does that make sense?
Yeah.
I know it makes sense.
Of course, we had, it does. We had RJ Karan, who came here a couple of weeks back. Yeah. And he put it across in a very nice way. He said, God will help you with winning a lottery. But that step of buying the ticket has to be taken by you. I mean, however you
Absolutely.
want to explain it, it means the
Yeah.
same that unless you take that first step, unless show the universe your intention,
Yeah.
nothing's going to happen. So that first step must be taken. And I think that's a great way to start by saying, how can it get better? Instead
Yeah.
of thinking of, normally what happens is we think of the worst
Yeah.
situation possible. I'll lose my job. I'll end up, on the streets, this. So I think a better way to do it would be to say, what is the best that can happen? I mean, maybe you'll come up with an order if you're an exporter, which is something you couldn't do in 3 years, or something like that. So obviously, I think that's a lovely question. How does it get better than that? Or how can it get better than that? That's beautiful.
Even the
Yeah.
willingness to change it is could be the first step. Like people who are here who are already listening to this conversation, who are already asking in their heads, how does it get any better than this? You've started to shift the energy already. So that intention that, hey, this should change and I'm not buying any of this as real. I'm not going to make myself wrong. Whatever it is, we'll find a way, you know. If you knew that the universe always has your back, you know, what would you choose different today? Would you actually choose to feel sad, low? And even if you have been feeling sad and low, it's okay. Sadhana, last 15 days have been like one of the worst for me um, in terms of feeling low. And you also got to get that you are like this, energetics antenna. You can perceive so many people's emotions. The moment you've decided it's mine, the depression, the feeling low, you'll actually send out these antennas which will show you how many people are feeling low, how many people are feeling depressed, how many. And the first 3 months were great for me. Like business wise, I was doing very well, everything was working. The last 15-20 days have been um, they weren't really, I didn't feel like doing anything, nothing was showing up, I constantly was judging myself. And then I said, okay, fine, I'll just take a break, I'll just relax. I relax into possibilities. And it is when I started relaxing, when I started allowing myself to enjoy everything in my life, whatever I have right now, is when literally 2 or 3 days back I was sitting and looking at it and I was like, hey, am I enjoying this sulking energy? Am I enjoying this feeling of victimhood? No. Well, then where did I buy the lie that things are not working? Okay, cool. Now I want to change it. And just that intention of, hey, what's it going to take for this to change? Okay, that was a lie that things are not working. This was a lie that I'm feeling low. Crap. What if none of it was true? So, okay, universe, show me new ways. And suddenly this energy shifted. It just comes from within, guys. So if you begin to trust yourself, and even if it's not working very well right now, what if it's not the end of the world? It's really not the end of the world. It's only when you give up. It's only when you say, oh, I can't anymore. I'm done. But then by then you're dead. So if you're alive today, if you're breathing, if you have blood running in your veins, well, you haven't given up. So keep going. Keep asking questions. Ask, what else can I choose? What have you been not choosing for these many years because you were so busy living a life that wasn't even yours? That people told you should be living. People told you had to have a career this way. People told you had to have this much money. But today, if you were living your life from a sense of spaciousness, the way we started talking about, from a sense of, okay, what else can I choose? Like today, there was this song somebody had put up on the group, Ore Pia, beautiful song. And I realized that I've heard this song, I think 100 times at least, if not more. But I heard the lyrics for the first time. And then I heard it 3 more times. And then when I was hearing it, I was like, oh my God, I gave up dancing. I was learning Kathak in school and I gave it up. And there was this desire to dance again. So how many things, guys, have you given up that today, what if today was an opportunity rather than something to be depressed about, to be sad about? What would you choose? And it could be simple choices like, what did I give up? Let me try this because I have time. Did you give up painting? Did you give up dancing? Did you give up chatting with people you care for? So just these little things, they seem like little things, but what if these are the things that will take you forward into the next step of your life? I don't know, we're not going according to what I had thought we were going to be talking about. But yeah, if you actually don't give up, guys, then
Yeah, no,
you
it's
haven't
very
failed.
important. And there's this Japanese word called ikigai,
Yes.
and yeah, and that's very important because that is exactly what you're talking about. Everybody has a calling.
Yeah.
Everybody has a purpose and a calling. A purpose, not a very large purpose. It could be dancing or whatever. So, you know, the find it. Basically, what I would like to say and what they say is that find that purpose. So they say that the two most important days in your life are the day that you were born and the day you find out why.
Wow.
I think that's so beautiful. Yeah, so find out why you were born, guys. All of us have an ikigai and all of us have a purpose. And I'm sure if we think about it, we will manage.
You know
Yeah, in
what?
the meantime,
Also, what
sorry.
if the purpose was only to have fun and enjoy your life? Because your life is a gift. If you're getting up, your hands and feet are working, you have food in your fridge, you have stuff to be
Sure,
grateful
but
for.
there is something that makes us tick and click, and everybody has one. And I'm sure everybody has one.
I
That's
think
the
we have more
philosophy,
than one,
basically.
Sadhana. Trust me, there is
Yeah,
definitely
that
more than
that
one.
could be true. Great. So in the meantime, a lot of people have been make giving us their comments. I'd like to say a couple of them. Skywalker, I'm sorry I don't know your name, but Skywalker and Love Centered, which is Mona, have been giving a nice stream of comments. Basically, they've been saying, and Renu also made a comment. So the gist of what everybody said is that we normally think of the worst in
Yeah.
a situation. Whenever people try to put us down, we buy into that, and we kind of we our emotions get the better of us. So because of that, what happens is that we get into this spiral downwards, perhaps. But as you are pointing out, I think there are choices we can make, and if we make the right choices, and the other thing, as I said in the beginning, which only human beings have got, is intellect. One is the power of choice, and the other is intellect. So use your intellect to make the right choices. At times things seem easy in the beginning. A choice seems like an easy thing, but it's not, because your choice has to be the right choice, even if it
Okay,
means
so can I,
struggle.
can I add to that? Like, can I just change it a little bit? Because it
Sure.
is our attempt to find the right choices. Like who tells us what the right choices are? What if it, instead of being the right choices, they were light choices? And what do I mean when I say light? When I say light choices, I'd say, what if it was a choice that gives you a spring in your step? What if it was a choice that brings you happiness? What if it was a choice that nurtures you? What if it was a choice that gives you pleasure? Now, if you look at the right choice, then I should be working all the time, because according to this reality and the way we're taught to function, if I'm not working, I'm not hardworking, I'm not going to get enough money, I'm not really professional. So when we try to get into the doing the right thing, that's again, we're buying this reality's point of view, where if you don't do the right thing, then you're wrong, or then you should feel bad about yourself, or then that's wrong. So I would, what has worked for me personally is, the things that have actually worked in my life are the things that I was stopped for. Trust me. And there have been more than 3 or 4. I was told, don't do this is not going to work, this is not you. And I went ahead and did them anyway, not because I was revolting or rebelling. It was just that I didn't want to give it up, because it was bringing me joy. And one of the things was facilitation, choosing access consciousness, right? But if I had given it up because it was not the right choice, according to who? According to probably people who didn't want me stepping out of the house, or because it involved money, it involved choosing for me, it involved travel when my kids were younger. So those are not the right things that a mom and a wife and a woman should be doing. But I chose them not knowing at that time I was choosing for me. When I looked at it in retrospect, and I look at it in retrospect now, I can see that if I had not made that choice, because it was light for me, because it was giving me wings, because I was having fun with it. It's as simple as that. So what if your choices were based on what gives you joy, what gives you pleasure, what is light, not right?
Absolutely.
Does that make
Great.
sense? I'm sorry to have
It
interrupted you, but
does. No, it's okay. No problem at all. It's you're the guest. You have a say. You can say,
thank you. That's
yeah,
lovely. I can say anything I want.
yeah, you can. I can't stop you. Yeah. Okay, there's one thing which Mona is saying, which is absolutely correct. I want to
Yeah,
point this out. She says, not making a choice is also a choice. This is very
absolutely.
important because
Very,
at
very important.
times we very conveniently don't take any action and we don't make any choice, and we just leave it on destiny. I mean, we can give it any name, but I think that's very important. If you choose to not make a choice, you are also, that is a very conscious choice to not make a choice, and that usually is done when people don't have the guts to uh, do so or whatever. Uh,
It could be
so I
that, or
want to
it could be
say, yeah, I
funny.
agree with that. Yeah.
It's true, but there are two, again, I think at least right now I can see two different ways of looking at it. One is a choice that you got to make that people think you should make, but you're making a choice to not make the choice that people expect you to make. Right? Now, when you're doing that, you do have the guts to follow what you would like to do. But if you make that an excuse, the way you're saying, you attribute it to luck, you blame people that nobody, listen, guys, nobody can stop you unless you allow them to stop you. So that part you have to be
That's true.
very, very clear about. You can't
Yeah.
really blame anyone. You can't keep blaming your parents. You can't keep blaming this reality. You can't keep blaming your money. If you're not making a choice, you're not making a choice. We have these
Right.
justifications and excuses of why we're not choosing something. But here's the
Yes.
funny bit, and the amazing bit is when you make a choice, when you say, hey, I'm going to do this, and you're committed, the commitment bit is important. And you're committing to yourself, to what is right choice for you, the way we just spoke about. And you say, I'm going to choose this anyway. Time doesn't matter whether do it now, whether do it later, but I'm going to start taking steps towards it, whether they're baby steps or they are elephant gigantic steps. But I'm going to choose it and I'm going to do it. And then, वो शाहरुख खान ने कहा है ना, जैसे पाब्लो कोलो का कोट है कि सारी कायनात फिर जुट जाती है आपको वो चीज दिलवाने में. But that choice,
That's right.
that choice is yours to make.
That
You can't
choice you
blame
have to
people
make.
anymore. Yeah.
Right. Sure. Okay. So Monica is asking, how does awareness go with choices?
So awareness, like I just said, when you ask, okay, what is light for me? What's a light choice for me? A simple question you can ask. So supposing you're confused about things, you can just ask the universe to show you clarity and ease. Hey, universe, show me clarity and ease with this. And you can ask, okay, which one is going to create a greater future for me? Which one is going to create joy for me? And then go ahead and choose it, because unless you do it, you wouldn't know whether it's creating fun for you or not, right? So go ahead and do it. If it's not fun for you, go ahead and choose something else, but make a choice. Don't make that excuse of I can't choose, I don't know how to. Just go ahead and choose whatever seems the first thing for you to choose. And if it's not working for you, go choose something else. It's like how a child picks up toys. He walks into this activity center. There are hundreds of toys, or a toy shop, picks up one. He doesn't like it, he moves on to another. If he doesn't like it, he moves on to another. What if you were being a kid and it was a toy shop, this whole world? Just choose. But when we make our choices significant, when we think, I have to make the right choice so that I don't make a mistake, you're already in fear. It's controlling you. Remember the conversation we just had. Don't worry, the universe has your back. Nothing bad is going to happen. But the worst thing that can happen if you don't make a choice is that you might not find things that make you happy. You might not find things that bring you, what you're asking for. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Right.
Okay. So Mona has just said awareness. There's a difference between awareness and application of the same. Yeah, that's right. Okay, Shweta, there's one thing I want to definitely touch upon because it affects a lot of people, including myself to begin with. Gitu, hi, thank you for joining. And also Diksha is here. Hi, Diksha.
Hey. Hi, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. What I want to talk about is money reality. How we can, because Shweta does these workshops on creating money and how we can allow money to, flow into our lives and how we should. Why don't you tell me about it? What exactly is your workshop about? And I want you
The
to
money
talk
one?
about money reality because it's affecting a lot of people, including myself. Our
Yeah.
the travel trade and hospitality business is deeply affected, and people are in a flux right now. So let's talk about money.
All right. So maybe we can touch upon money because money is such a vast topic. And people are going to laugh if I say that money is just energy. But it truly is. It truly is. And this whole conversation, Sadhna, that we've just had on choice and possibilities is the beginning point of beginning to actually ask for more money, making choices that will contribute to you. And when you begin to commit to your life, when you begin to ask for what is the life choice for you and follow that, that direction, and you commit to yourself, you don't give yourself up for anyone or anything, you stop making excuses, you stop justifying, you stop blaming someone else for not allowing you to do something or be something. You're just constantly having fun making choices and choosing things that are going to expand your life. The money really actually starts to come in. So I used to hear this thing, and I'm sure a lot of us here have heard this, कि जब तुम अपने मन का काम करोगे तो पैसा अपने आप आ जाएगा. पर फिर हम पूछते थे कि यार कैसे आ जाएगा, बिकॉज मुझे तो नहीं दिख रहा ऐसे होते हुए. बट वो थ्री इडियट्स वाली मूवी भी जब बनी थी, ऐसे बहुत सारी स्टोरीज हैं, मूवीज बनी हैं वेयर आमिर खान इज फॉलोइंग हिज. एंड आई वाज थिंकिंग अबाउट इट द अदर डे, आई डोंट नो व्हाई इट पॉप्ड अप इन माय हेड दैट ही वेंट टू IIT, remember, in someone else's name because he just wanted to learn. His curiosity was about the subject, about knowledge. It didn't matter to him whether he got the degree or not, whether somebody knew him or not. And later, he becomes this guy who's actually contributing to the world, living the life he wants to live, between the people he wants to live, in a great environment, and yet also making money, right? So, what happens in this reality is, I know the way I grew up, we had to be professionals. We had to have the right education so that you could get the right job, then get married to the right person so that he had the right kind of money, then have the right image. It's just it just keeps going on and on and on with the right. And that's why I wanted to tell you that it's not the right choice that you got to make. Now, when I actually started looking at my life, when access came my way, I mean, that's the only example I have right now, which changed everything in my life, including the money, because I've never had as much money as I have now, as much control over money as much as I have now, as much awareness around money as I have now. And also add to that, the last 6 years have been about meeting so many wonderful people, traveling abroad at least 4 different times, sometimes twice in a year, plus other stuff just coming for free, being gifted to me. And how did that happen? One thing I can say is it has been about a commitment that I've had to my life and not giving up on my choices. And that doesn't mean you have to fight against anyone. It doesn't mean you have to revolt. It just means that, hey, I'm going to have this. Whether now, whether 2 years later or 5 years later, I don't care. Because that is not significant anymore because you're busy having fun. You're busy creating. And you're not focused on, I should get the money. I should get the money. Because when our thoughts are only focused on money, then we try to do everything. Or we say, I need the money. I don't have the money. Then you start getting desperate. You start getting stressed out and you can't even enjoy the money you have. You can't enjoy the life you have. So I would say that the beginning point of attracting more money or having more money in your life is choice. Asking questions. Following up on your awareness on what shows up as the right choice for you. And never giving up, no matter how long it takes. No matter who tries to stop you. No matter how low you feel, get up and walk again. It's okay. You're sitting in the bathroom and crying. It's okay. Wipe your tears, get up and walk. I've
Shweta,
done
can I
that.
just, sorry, yeah, can I interrupt you for a second?
Absolutely.
Yeah, Mona has mentioned that we operate from lack on a subconscious level. So that's right, I agree. And Geetu is saying that can you share a couple of incidents about how you went from not having to having money, maybe a couple of examples so that
Uh,
they would feel inspired. Ki how? Like, what are the right
See,
either
as I said,
questions or attitude?
absolutely. So I can say that when I started Access, I had this money that I could spend on the classes to go and learn. I just had it lying with me because I had not spent it. It was money that was lying with me. So I started with that. And then it went to, I wanted to do more. I wanted to choose more. I didn't think I wanted to become a facilitator, but that's where I was heading. Okay. Because I was just choosing what was light for me. And at that point of time, Sadhana, I did not even have a credit card. I did not know how banks operated. I could not do a bank transaction online, right? None of those things. So I was like, now what do I do? I had to go and choose. I was not willing to give up. So what I started doing, it's funny, and I'm doing this on a public platform, but well. So I started requesting my brother, my friends, I would say that, I'll collect the money, whatever classes I'm doing, whatever money is coming in. I started collecting it. And I told them to pay with their credit card and I would go and put the cash in their account. Because I didn't have a credit card and certain things that you could buy with credit cards, because this was an international, platform where I was paying for these classes and everything. And then there was a time last year, I remember very clearly, where I didn't have the money to go and attend my facilitator's training to renew my license for the second year. Okay. So 4 months before December, I was supposed to go, or March. No, March. Okay. So this was my second training. So in March I had to go, and December I'm talking to my brother, and I'm telling him that, listen, I don't have the money to go for this, but I really want to go for it. And my husband wasn't okay with it. He was like, you're spending too much money, and again, you're going to go, and where's the money? Your business is not generating money and all of that. And I don't blame him. He was right. If it's not generating money, you're just going to go and throw more money. And trust me, Sadhana, I was like, this much in 4 months, how am I going to create it? And I just left. I was like, okay, if it has to happen, if this is what my purpose is, the way you said, if this is how it's going to create for me, well then, universe, show me the way. And you might not believe it, but by March I had the exact amount I was asking for, and it was so much ease. It just showed up with so much ease. But there have also been times when I've tried to create out of force, out of this should show up as this much. I did it that time, so I can do it again, and it didn't happen like that.
So how did it happen? I mean, what is the secret?
It was a genuine ask, and it was a willingness to give up also on things that are not working for me. So I was like, if this isn't working for me, if it's not a great business venture, then I can give it up. I can do something else. It's not as if I'm going to die if I'm not a facilitator. I can choose something else. But hey, universe, if you really want me to do this, well, then show me the way. And then I didn't give up. I reached out to people. I spoke to people. I answered calls when people called me. I did what I had to do. I was doing the action steps, but I was not doing it out of a need. I was willing to let it go. I was also willing to have it. So whenever you're willing to have it and you're also willing to let it go, it's not significant. It's not as if that thing defines me. I can create it in my world. Nothing defines me. I can create anything I want in my life, and I can let it go if I like. It's my choice. And
so it boils down to choosing. I mean, we must have,
absolutely, it boils
down
to
the choice is in our hand.
And also not making anything significant. Nothing is more valuable than you and your joy and your pleasure and your ask. So it is an ask and receive universe. Anywhere that you think, guys, that you're going to ask and it's not going to come to you, please stop and unbelieve it. Okay? Stop disbelieving. Become a believer.
The law of attraction. It's the law of attraction.
It works.
Ask and you shall receive. Oh no, I completely believe in it. Yeah. The law of attraction works. Yeah.
The law of attraction is like gravity. It exists whether you believe it or not.
Absolutely. And if you're, there is another interesting thing that I think we have to start feeling abundant. It's not about money. Abundance is not directly related with the kind of money you have in your pocket. Abundance is an attitude, and abundance is a feeling, So we must start feeling abundant, which is different from rich and money. And the minute we feel abundant, the time that we allow abundance and stuff to come into our life, uh, and don't keep correlating everything with money or fear of losing it, I think that's when money will actually come in. What do you say?
Absolutely beautifully put, Sadhana. Um, a great way to get to the feeling abundant thing, because a lot of people say feel abundant, you must feel abundant, but we don't know how to, is actually to shift to gratitude, and it is one of the most undermined energies, I think, because really, if you actually look at, just start doing 100 things that you're grateful for. Like, actually start looking every day at, list down 100 things that you're grateful for, and see how it immediately shifts your perspective. See how it immediately starts attracting more, because when you start looking at what you have, instead of what you don't have, because our tendency is mostly to look at what we don't have, which makes us unhappy, stressed, not rested, doing that bhag, dora dora bhaga basa all the time. And that is the PTSD thing that we develop in our bodies, creating disease, creating no sleep, anxiety. So what if you looked at what you have today in your life? And that will start to show you how abundant you are. Like, look around. Look around your house right now. See the things that you have. And be grateful. Like, just look at them and see how those things have contributed to you. And like Sadhana beautifully said, the moment you start to feel abundant, you will attract more abundance. You will attract, the universe will say, oh, she likes to feel like that. I'll give her more things to feel like that for. That's how the law of attraction works, right? So what if today you could actually start to look at things that in your life, even though nasty people, what if you were grateful for them too? Even the people who've been mean to you, even the people or incidents that have not contributed to you, because that's what you think, they haven't contributed to you. But if you were grateful for them also, you'll see how much they've taught you, how much you've learned from them that you can now use to create more abundance in the future, right? And that's the beauty, guys. Everything contributes to you. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, I'm
Did I do the
always,
money thing all right? Or do you on money? The money is something that we can go on and on
no,
forever.
what I'm thinking of always when I come to this point in my, talks is that I think 1 hour is never enough. We are almost going to touch 1 hour, and
Really?
there's so much,
Time
yeah,
is. So I don't know.
there's so much more to talk. So, guys, if you have any questions, a couple of them, just ask quickly. Otherwise, Shweta, I think I'll have to get you back because, this is just not enough. And another time, maybe in a few weeks, couple of weeks, we'll come back again. If anyone has questions, you can ask me because, Shweta, as you quickly just could tell us a little bit about Access. I'll start reading if there are any interesting questions I can ask you before we close up because I don't want to be cut off mid-air while, still having our discussion and I want to say a proper bye. So I'll keep a minute for that also.
I think we have spoken a lot about questions and choices and how questions open choices, and when you begin to choose, all of these different possibilities begin to open up, and that's also another way how money also starts to flow in, because money is also just another energy of abundance. When you open up doors to abundance, not only great relationships flow into your life, the ones that are already there start changing because now you've committed to you and you're looking at what would I like to choose. And access consciousness is a beautiful modality that I've been practicing in facilitating classes on different topics. And one of the first things that anyone who desires to choose access consciousness, the first class is the bars class. And like we've been talking about, that your point of view will create your reality. So if you believe you can't, you won't be able to. If you believe you can do anything, you'll be able to. If you believe you won't have money, you won't. If you believe, well, I can create any amount of money I want. Like Renu beautifully says, she told me this. She's also an access bars facilitator, and a wonderful one. And she teaches these tools to the children, like the simple questions of how does it get any better than this? And what else is possible here that I haven't considered? That's another question you can ask with your money, with your business. And I love to do these money and business classes. So she said, I asked the children once if you could have any amount of money you want, and there was this whole ocean, and you could take any tool to take as much money out. That ocean was full of money. So what tool would you take? Would you take a bucket? Would you take a basket? What would you take? So somebody said, I'm going to take a basket. One kid said, well, my dad has this truck company and I'm going to take all the trucks there and get all the money that I can from there. And then one guy said that I'm going to take a hose pipe, so that I could just keep pulling money from there. And there was this one kid who said, I'm not going to go there and get anything. And Renu asked him why. And he said, I can create anything I want whenever I want it. Why would I want to go and pick it up from somewhere and then hoard it and stuff? I am the generator kind of energy. I will generate it and create it. And coming from like a kid, 3 to 5 years old, isn't that amazing? Like, do you know you can create and generate anything in your life and there's no limitation at all? So access consciousness is this modality that actually empowers you to trust yourself, to ask yourself, what is your life choice? What would you like to choose? It's not about me telling you what to do. It's about me asking you a question and you getting to know, oh, I didn't know I knew this. I didn't know I could do that. So what if there was no limitations, Sadhana? What if everything that we've been telling ourselves we can't do, we can't be, is just a lie that we tell ourselves? And that's what makes us depressed, sad. We keep buying into what other people tell us. तुम ये नहीं कर सकते, तुम वहाँ नहीं जा सकते, ये अच्छा नहीं है, वो ठीक नहीं है. All.
So, Shweta, can I ask you a question? Are you okay for if after a couple of minutes I disconnect this? And are you okay to come back for about 15-20 minutes?
I sure can if people are willing to.
Just now? Yeah. So, Geetu, Kapil, and anybody else, I'm going to, it's going to be 1 hour up. So I'm going to disconnect in a minute or two after saying bye formally. And then I'm going to come back again with her for about 15-20 minutes because some people have questions and I won't be able to take them in this call. It's 1 hour and it gets disconnected. So anybody who wants to join, it's up to you. There's no compulsion. 17, 18 people who have been consistently throughout. Thank you so much. And if you want to anyways take some questions or ask Shweta questions, come back. So Geetu, just come back. Kapil, you can come back or anybody else. We'll do some question answers with Shweta. And if you don't come back, thank you so much. Anyways, that you were here this whole hour. I love you very much. And yeah, thank you so much. So let's say a formal bye right now, Shweta, so that we can, yeah. Bye.
See you back in
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, and then, yeah, and I'm going to be back within a minute or two with Shweta again. Shweta, you'll send me a message after I go live. And anybody who has questions, come back. For people who might be coming here for the first time and who didn't attend the last session, Shweta and I were doing a very interesting conversation on power of choice and access consciousness, on the law of attraction, if you please. I don't know where all we went, but it was great fun. It was a very interesting conversation. And money, money was very important. And in the middle of all this, the time got over. So we are back just because there are people who have questions and who are not really able to take them. So in this session, we are essentially going to take questions from all of you. So if you have something to ask, please do. In the meantime, Shweta, you can just continue with what you were saying so that we kind of warm up before the questions start.
We were actually talking about access consciousness and also talking about money. And, there's this thing that we didn't really touch upon it. And it is so much where we were talking about questions and choosing what works for us. Like, when I was sharing how this thing of when I didn't have the money to go and do the class to renew my license. And then it did show up. Is so much of you allowing yourself to be all of you, and nobody talks about being you really. Like, what does being you look like?
Geetu, I'll ask. Don't worry. I've read your question. I'll ask her. Don't worry. Yeah. Sorry, Shweta. Yeah.
I didn't see the question.
No, so she asked in the previous live also. Yeah, I will ask her. Don't worry. Yeah. So continue with your thing.
So with each choice that we make, which is true for ourselves, you will start to become more of the energy that is truly you. And by the way, when you asked me, how did it show up? I think it's got a lot to do with you choosing what works for you being you know. And the more you begin to make these choices that are
I agree.
about what gives you joy, what gives you pleasure, what is fun for you, and what nurtures your being. Like, there are things that we do that we can go on doing endlessly, like this conversation. I can go on talking, like, if I have to. And that's what we do in so many classes when we go on for 4 days at a stretch. Because it's fun for me. Because when I see people change with these tools of access consciousness, it just nurtures my being somehow. You being able to contribute to someone somehow contributes to you too. It's a two-way street. Someone getting happier,
Absolutely.
someone receiving more money, you get happier for them, with them, and that begins to shift the energy of your life too. And that is something that I have learned with access consciousness, and that's what we talk about in all our classes with all our tools. Hey, what would it be like if you started to become all of you, right? Whatever little parts and pieces that Sadhna you were talking about that we gave up for someone else because that was supposed to be the right choice, that was supposed to be the correct choice. And so I say, अच्छा ठीक है मैं ये छोड़ देती हूँ क्योंकि मुझे पढ़ाई करनी है, मुझे उस I'm not saying it's wrong if you did something that was making someone in your life happy because they expected stuff out of you. But if you did cut off any pieces of you, if you sacrificed everything that brought you joy, if you gave up on stuff because it doesn't please your partner or your family or the society or the culture, then somewhere you're cutting off being all of you. And when you start to make these choices, that's how choice is so important. When you start to make choices that are about committing to you in your life, then everything starts to work in your life. Even the money starts to show up. So there are a lot of tools and a lot of ways where we start to see how we can change our money situation, which we might not be able to do in such a short conversation right now. But would it suffice for me to tell you that when you commit to yourself and you start to see where you've created limitation on money and are not making choices that are about you, and once you change that,
And maybe even buying into lies or projections that other people have about you. Ki, tere se nahi hoga, you can't do this, you're not good enough. Sometimes even that stops us,
yeah, you can't do figures, women should not hear about money, or you're too dumb, or you're too stupid, or business kyun karna hai, professional bano, anything that someone told you and you believed it. And you didn't even know that you believed it, but that is running your life now. That is the underlying thing that you're creating your whole life around, constantly believing you can't, you won't, you're dumb, you're stupid. I always thought I couldn't do accounts. I always thought I was not intelligent enough. I always thought I wasn't good looking enough. But who decides these things? Nobody tells
There's
you.
another thing. We spend our whole life looking for validation from other people. And we are trying to fit into certain, molds which either our parents or our in-laws or our peer group have really sort of created. And we try to keep fitting in and we are looking for validation. And all of it is only going to cause us stress. In fact, there was for example, what I wanted to mention was that on 10th of September, we had the World Suicide Day or something termed like that, which I think was again to bring an awareness in the minds of people that there should not be so much of pressure on everybody to perform or act in a certain way, because that I think is what is leading to all the complication. In fact, today itself I read a report in the paper which said that around 11,000 students had committed suicide last year. That's 2019. Around 11,000 students, and you will be surprised to know that only 4% of it was related with academics. A majority, more than 90%, was because of peer pressure. So that relationships or peer pressure. So that is a kind of harassment or, self-inflicted harassment that we are facing. And this is children. like this, there are so many examples of people who, on the face of it, are doing well. They look good. They have everything going for themselves. And then they go and do something which is totally out of character. But
Yeah,
who is
because
to judge how their life was, you
it's
know?
an image that we're creating. Like when Robin Williams committed suicide, I was like, how could this guy kill himself? It was something that deeply affected me, because on in the movies he appeared to be such a jovial, happy-go-lucky person. He was always happy, always spreading joy, and nobody could have imagined that he was suffering from
Yeah, you
depression.
feel kind of cheated, that
So
no, I mean, not him. Why? Like,
yeah.
you can't believe it, I
So
understand.
can I say something here? Is like, um, I haven't really said it out loud in the open so much, but I'm willing to say that I've had those kind of thoughts so many times. And a lot of that has to do with what you're saying, as you looking at other people's lives being better than you not being able to live up to what you think you were supposed to live up to. And that's exactly why I'm saying, what if now's the time where you didn't have to go into the wrongness of things not working out, or the money not showing up, or the businesses? What if now's the time that you are grateful for the lives that you have, for whatever you have, and don't compare yourself to people who on the face of it appear happy? Like Facebook always has happy images. I haven't seen an image on Facebook which is about people crying, or mostly people don't put up about their fights or their feeling insecure about themselves. But a lot of us, like I'd say, there are times when I feel insecure about me. There are times when I feel my business is not doing as well as it should. There are times when I feel I've gone and thrown money and wasted money, and I don't know tomorrow whether it's going to show up or not. But those feelings are not real, guys. They're not real. Please don't buy into them, and don't think you're alone. Everyone goes through it at some point of their life or another. And that's also where, Sadhna, I'm not trying to sell access consciousness, but trust me, the bars have been such a contribution. That was what I was talking about when we had to sign off on our last live. It is something which is so very simple, and I can tell you, if you want to do it now, I can introduce you to it. Or we can actually create an intro session. I'd be happy to do a free intro session for you guys with Sadhna. It's so simple. Please go find somebody who runs the bars. Basically, we just touch points on the head, which start to release all of these feelings, all of these thoughts, all of these I can't, it's not going to happen, all the doubt, all the fear. It just gives you that space of who you are as a being. Do you need the money, really? Do you need as much as you think you do? Do you really need the security, or are you secure in yourself? Do you really need someone to validate you, to tell you how cool you are? Or do you just know inside that you're cool just the way you are? You're beautiful just the way you are. You're amazing just the way you are. Right? So the bars, please Google it, guys, if you want. Access consciousness bars, or the bars access consciousness. And that actually starts to shift this feeling of feeling low, depression, insecurity. It gives you this space of, it just gives you space, I'd say, to allow yourself to be who you be. You don't have to feel insecure. You don't have to feel invalidated. Whatever you have today is your creation. Please be grateful for it. And don't think you're alone in this. You're not. Like, a lot of people don't show it, but I would say there are a lot of people, like more than 50-60%, who go through these feelings of insecurity. However secure they feel on the face, they look on the face.
Yeah, sometime in life we all feel that way, no?
But there are ways to get out of it. So don't give up, is what I would say. Please don't give up. And
Yeah, sure.
reach out to Sadhna or to me if you would like an intro session of what the bars is about. Find a bars practitioner somewhere around you. Go get to a class, learn the bars so that you can do it on yourself, so that you can do it on your loved ones, or someone can do it for you. Find a swapping group where someone can run your bars and they can run your bars. And when I say running bars, it's the placement of the fingers in different positions. It's like an hour-long process, and trust me, it just changes everything.
Yeah,
So
sure. You can always my I'll do a post, but even the previous posts have Shweta's handle, Instagram handle. You can DM her and get more information as well. So now I think let's take questions, which is what we really came back for. So one thing which Gitu was asking a couple of times in the other chat as well, she wants you to talk about judgment, and how, though she didn't put it very elaborately, but I guess how do you get into a state of, I mean, how do, why do we keep judging people and why do people keep judging us and how do you get out of this?
Oh, judgment is another way of controlling people. Like fear. Isn't it interesting? If you tell someone they're bad, they're not good, does that give you more control over them? And it is also one of the lies that is kind of projected on us, that we're told, even if you're not directly told, you're so many times just aware of how someone perceives you, like a parent who always told you that you're not, तुमसे नहीं होगा, तुम नहीं कर पाओगे, या कोई teacher जिसने कहा हो. It's that subtle, sometimes it's subtle ways, sometimes it's intense ways where you can perceive judgment. But like I said, you have these energetic antennas and you are an energetic being, so you can perceive people judging you and also judging themselves. So how many of you are aware of judgments in other people's worlds where they're judging themselves nonstop? And you think it's yours. You think you're just receiving it like a song on the radio. A great example I like to give is like you're like a radio playing a song, So that song is being relayed through you, but are you the song or are you the channel or are you just playing it? So one of the ways to get out of judgment is to start to look at any thought in your head, any feeling that you feel is yours. Like if you go, I can't do this, or I'm scared. Ask, is this really mine? Or am I tapping into someone else's? Who does it belong to is a question that we use in Access. And if you begin to ask, who does it belong to? Is it really mine? No, you're playing Chinese whispers, Have you played that game of Chinese whispers where a group of children sit in a circle and you say one sentence to the next person, into the next person, into the next person, right? It's like that. And sometimes you don't even hear things correctly because वो घूमते घूमते वो चीज तो बदल ही जाती है ना जो होती है. तो आप जो सुन रहे हो क्या वो सच में आपका है या आप दूसरों के ख्याल सुन रहे हो? तो जब हम पूछते हैं ना, who does this really belong to? Is it mine? And Dr. Dane here, who is the co-founder of Access Consciousness, and we're just going to quickly give you this exercise if you want to get out of judgment. And if there's any other question, we'll take that and call it quits after that because it's become too long. I don't want to bore you guys. Although
No.
so fun for me. So this little exercise of who does it belong to, if you do it for 3 days, guys, like with every thought that comes into your head, with every feeling and with every emotion, ask, who does it belong to? Stop there. Okay? Geetu, you can do it right now with whatever's going on in your head, the judgment, that the wrongness, the heaviness, the feeling bad.
I hope Geetu's here. Geetu, are you there?
Or whoever's there.
Yeah, whoever's there can do it. Yeah.
So whatever that is bothering you, that thought, ask, who does this belong to? Okay? And then ask, is this really mine? Yes or no? No, 99.99% thoughts, feelings, emotions are not yours, guys. And if you do this for 3 days with every thought, every feeling, every emotion, you will become a walking, talking meditation. Trust me, I haven't been able to do it for 3 days at a stretch. Even now, I still keep attempting it. But here's the trick, okay? If you falter, if you believe again, any of those emotions are yours, then you have to go back from day one and do it again at another 3 days. Okay, with every thought, every feeling, every emotion. So this is a little exercise you can actually, and you can also go to YouTube and look up Dr. Dane here, who does it belong to? He explains this question even better, but this is all there is to it. It's simple. So it's really simple to change your life. It's really simple to get all the things that you're asking for. It's simple to get out of feelings of lack. All that is required is choice and your commitment and the follow-up action that you're asking for. Right?
Yeah, great. I hope, Geetu, that answered your question. So Sonal had asked, her question was about empathy, that, let me read it. We spoke about worry, and does that mean we give the impression that we are not empathetic or we are empathetic? I mean, is there something about empathy and worry that you would like to talk about, if you could tell us?
what do you want to know about empathy? Because there's a lot we can talk about, and I don't think we have the space to go into it now. But is there a specific question around it? Like Geetu had said, how can you change it? How can
Okay,
you change it?
so let me read it. We spoke about not worrying, and if it's not happened to you, does that mean we give the impression of not being empathetic? So I think what she means is that if something's not happened to us, uh, will we not, will the person feel that we are not being empathetic if, we try to
Well,
kind
have
of
you
be
tried being
detached?
empathetic? Okay, cool. So I'm going to say, have you tried being empathic actually to somebody who did not want it? Like you thought you had to be the empathic, helpful. Like empathy is one extreme level of being helpful. And if you're not being helpful or if you're not being empathic, then people think you're selfish. And a lot of times, in order to avoid appearing to be selfish, we try to help. We try to do things for people who really don't want it.
So
As
she's
any
just clarified that, for example, a lot of people in the trade have lost their jobs. And if it's not happened to us, then, when you talk to somebody who's lost their job and you pretend to be empathetic or, show
Oh, I'll
empathy,
tell
then
you
does it
what.
come across or what? Yeah.
Yes, okay. So, see, I've tried to help people who lost their jobs. I've tried to give them options. I've tried, but they always had an excuse as to why they shouldn't. I've paid people their salaries, even when, like, their full salaries and sometimes even more, um, in the last 4 months, 5 months, even when they were not coming for work. Right. But what happened was they turned around and started expecting me to give them more because I was living my life as if it was abundant. And there was no sense of gratitude. There was no sense of, wow, thank you so much. Or, wow, what else can I create? It was just that it increased the expectation of me giving them more. On the other hand, there have been times when I have given people and helped them and they've turned around and said, wow, thank you so much. And it's okay, whatever you can give me. And I wonder what else I can do. So, it's a question of there are different kinds of people in the world. There are different kinds of energies. There are different ways you respond to different people and different energies. So for someone who's actually asking to change their lives, like, can I give you the tools? If you're not willing to change, you're going to tell me I'm talking a load of bull. For someone who's not willing to receive it, you can't give it to them. So, and they will turn around and judge you for it. So you always, again, go back to question and ask, is this person really willing to receive my assistance? And if not, move on, right? I'm not saying don't help people, but empathy is a point of view where you have to help. You have to, out of compulsion, do it. That's a judgment of yourself. You don't have to be anything that's not light for you. But if you are constantly, like what Sadhna was saying, if you're functioning from awareness, you'll know which one of them is willing to receive help, assistance, contribution, and you'll know which people will not receive it and judge you for it if you try to help them. Does that make sense? So please help only those people who are willing to receive it. And how do you know who they are? You ask a question and you'll know because you are an aware being, my friend. Okay, you know it, right? Empathy is just a point
Yeah.
of view. So
Okay,
it's
great.
self-awareness.
Yes, Skywalker says, can you talk a little bit about how to control ego? And I
Again,
think,
we can go into that.
uh,
But it's like ego is also just a point of view. And if you think, well, being
Kapil,
who
you had a question. Can you just post the question again while she's talking about ego? Yeah, tell me, Shweta.
I'm just saying something again. There are all of these points of views and about ourselves. We shouldn't be selfish. We shouldn't have ego. You got to see, guys, that anything that's making you feel wonky, heavy, not good about yourself is a lie you're being told. So anytime you're doing something and you don't want to be egoistical or you don't want to be selfish, people are going to give you exactly that so that they can control you. They're going to tell you you're being selfish so that you can stop being who you are. So that conversation we were having about being you, and by the way, I do have a stepping into being you intro class coming up on Wednesday if you're more interested in all of these questions. That's a paid class. But if you actually look at anything like a label that's given to you, like ego, you're egoistical or you're selfish, you're cutting off being all of you. Because, all right, if I have to look after myself first, if I do look after myself first, will I be able to look after the others better? If I do have money in my life, then will I be able to contribute more? But if I try to create money, if I try to do the things that seem selfish, and I don't want to be selfish, then people will tell me I'm selfish so that I can stop being all of me. I hope that makes sense, because this is a conversation, slightly advanced conversation. It's just that don't buy into labels, guys. It's judgment. So I don't think we can go too much in depth here.
And for fine, yeah, I think that should be fine. But another thing I want to say about judgment is, I think one very serious judgment we do is self-judgment. So don't get into that, because normally when we talk about judgment, we are talking about judging other people or other people judging us. But I think there's a lot of harm we do because of judging ourselves also, So
All the time.
be careful about that.
Yeah.
Okay, Kapil has a question. How do I access intuition? How do I know what's good for me? Or how do you tap on or build on your intuition further?
By trusting yourself, by making small choices that will help you build that trust. It will take practice. It doesn't happen overnight. But if you start to do little things where you trust yourself, and then those start to show results, you will start believing in you more. So make small choices, follow up on those choices, commit to yourself, and when they work, you will start to believe in yourself more. That's how you do it. Right?
Yeah, sounds good.
Awesome.
Any other questions? Anybody? Richa was here. She was my guest last Sunday. Hi, Richa. Thank you for joining. Anyone has any other questions? Would you like to ask something? Ginny was here. Thanks, Ginny. Any other questions, guys? Or shall we say ta-ta?
Let's say bye.
Nothing
now.
else?
We've actually covered and if anyone
we've covered a lot and we've spoken a lot.
Yes, so I was just saying that let people reach out to you, Sadhana, if they would like to do an intro on the bars. I'd be happy to co-create it with you. It is a huge contribution, and yes, we're meeting again in another fortnight and talking more about money. Isn't that right?
Yeah, we'll come back again. I'll announce the date and do a barrage of posts. Don't worry, everybody will know. And right now, I think
I want to say something before we wind up. Is like I think I want to say this officially, is that I am highly impressed with your commitment to these lives and how you create them with so much of effort that you put in, and so much of I don't even have the word, like the energy that you be when you do them, and the commitment you have towards it is such an inspiration, Sadhana. So I would say please keep doing these lives. This is just an example of you being you. I remember the time when you said, hey, I want to be doing these lives, and look where you are, look what you've created, how much joy you've created in people's worlds. So this is what happens, guys, when you become more of you, when you start to follow your knowing, and it's just that little spark of, I remember Sadhana saying, hey, I'd like to be doing these, and look at the way she's creating. I think it's so motivating and it's so inspirational that when you look at someone like that and you say, hey, I'd like to be like that too, And that's also one of the ways where you begin to find more of you. When you look at people who are creating joy in not only in their lives, but in so many others, for all of us, for me, being a guest here, for all the other guests who've been here, for all of you guys, it's like a mutual co-creation contribution. How? Just because Sadhana chose to do this, to be more of her. So I adore you, Sadhana, and thank you so very much for having me here. I had a lovely time sharing all of these amazing awarenesses and tools with you guys. And thank you, everyone who chose to come on again. It's such an honor. And I'm going to
I know. Thank you so much, Shweta. I really appreciate your kind words. And, you have seen me from the planning stage when I spoke about it, and then I finally did it. So thank you. Yeah, these bring me a lot of joy too. And thank you, guys. I mean, you have so much patience. You've come back for a second round. I mean, that's totally amazing.
I'm really grateful.
Sadhana, you have been amazing.
My phone battery is running.
Thank you, Sonal. Yeah, yeah. So we'll say bye. Thank you for coming, and thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate everything. next weekend I might take a holiday and off, so I'll
You
tell you
should.
about it.
Relax
Yeah,
into possibility,
so next Sunday
Sadhana.
may be off for me and for all of you all. And anyways, I'll keep you informed and I'll keep in touch. Thanks again and
Thank
ta-ta.
you. Bye
Bye-bye.
bye. See you
Bye.
again soon.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.
So, how did you enjoy this episode? I hope you liked it because I, for one, love talking to all my guests. There's so much to learn from them. It's extremely exciting. If you did like it, then I suggest please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so that you know when we upload a new episode. I'm also available on Instagram, that's sadhana_insta, and on Facebook. So I'll see you somewhere soon with a new guest. Ta-ta. Bye-bye.